Am I the a-hole for not allowing my ex-fiancée to continue living with me after she broke off our engagement? My ex-fiancée broke up with me because she felt that we barely saw each other, which is a lie. I work in a family restaurant, and by the time my fiancé gets off work, I wouldn't make it home until 3 to 5 hours after her, depending on the day. She's been wanting me to find a new job because she felt that it wasn't fair she worked longer hours than I did, and that since I worked in the evenings, she didn't feel like we had enough time together. I always told her that I had no desire to quit, and that I think it'll be beneficial for us if she were to work with me because we'd get more time off and we'd get it to spend together. She told me that she didn't feel comfortable working for my parents, and I accepted that. She'd still complain from time to time, but I never thought she'd break up with me for it. Well, she did, and she said my work schedule was the reason. This upset me deeply because I didn't understand. I don't work Sundays or Mondays, and I get to spend time with her Tuesday mornings and Saturday mornings before I go to work. I thought we were past it, but I was wrong. When she broke up with me, I was hurt. She was apologizing, but told me that with our work schedules, she didn't see how we could get married if I wasn't going to try and find a job that was better for all of us. She said it would be better if we just stayed friends. I told her that she knew before we got engaged what my schedule was, and she shouldn't have accepted it in the first place. She told me that she accepted it because she thought that over time I would try and find a different job. After our breakup, I avoided her after that because I didn't really want to see her anymore. But then I felt that I shouldn't have to be the one uncomfortable in my own home. It's not big enough to avoid her completely, and I felt that she needed to move out. I told her that I felt that she needed to go, and since we weren't getting married anymore, there was no point in us living together. She asked me if I was serious, and I told her that I was. I asked for the ring back as well. She got upset by this because she said that I gave it to her, and I shouldn't ask for it back since it meant something to her. I told her that I bought it so we could get married, but since we weren't getting married, I wanted it back. She told me that I could easily afford to get a new one and that I was greedy. She said that trying to kick her out and ask for her ring back after we've been together for so long was insensitive, and that I should be ashamed of myself. I didn't budge, and she ultimately gave me the ring back and moved out 9 days ago. But she told me that if I truly loved her, I wouldn't have asked for the ring back and would have allowed her to continue living with me. She said that she had a legitimate reason to call off our engagement and that she shouldn't be made homeless because of it. She said that it was her home too, since she lived there with me and she shouldn't have to live with her parents. I don't fault her for calling off our engagement. I just wish she would have told me sooner. What I have a problem with is the fact she thinks she still has to live with me and gets to keep the ring that I bought. Edit. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m., Friday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., Saturday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. The restaurant is only open during the evenings. She works 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. She's off on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. What the actual heck did she think was going to happen? She obviously thought he would give in and start looking for a new job, and then they could get married, and was hurt when he didn't. But she really shouldn't have been surprised. Yeah, blackmailing your partner by threatening a breakup is stupid. She got the result that a person using their brains would expect. Not the a-hole. Engagement rings are given in expectation of marriage. No marriage, no ring. And she can't really expect that breaking up with you but still living together was ever going to work. She just wanted you to be the one to make her leave so she can justify to herself and probably family and friends what a meanie you are. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I failed to see the logic of the ex-fiancé. Not getting married but wants to keep the marriage promissory ring. Breaking up but wants to continue living rent-free? Delusional? Trying to force OP's hand, I suspect. Good grief. OP is better without her. She sounds delusional. Was he suddenly supposed to say, "Oh, I prefer you staying here and keeping the ring, even though the sight of you really hurts me"? Or was he supposed to suddenly have an epiphany that his job needed to be changed and how awesome she was right there still when he got a new job? She's manipulative. I don't think she really expected them to break up. Really break up permanently. Next story. Am I the a-hole for reporting my fiancé and her lover to the FBI for credit card fraud on the OFANS platform? Not long ago, I was engaged. My girlfriend seemed like someone you could build a life with. She was beautiful, intelligent, admired, and respected by everyone who knew her. She always had good ideas and instincts when it came to making money. She was the girl of my dreams, and I genuinely wanted to spend my whole life with her. After 2 years together, I proposed, and we planned to get married in Bali in 2025. In March of this year, I noticed something off about her behavior. She started coming home 4 to 5 hours late, often with excuses that didn't add up. I also noticed she put a privacy screen on her phone, making it impossible to see what she was doing on the phone. She began leaving the house looking like a diva, with impeccable makeup, dyeing her hair more frequently, and changing her hairstyle. She had always been well-groomed, but these changes seemed excessive, like something only models and stars do. I felt uneasy, and the feeling wouldn't go away. So, I put an air tag in her car to track where she was when she was late. The same day I did this, I saw she was far from home, and her car was parked in a rough area. I drove like a madman until I found her car and waited for her to return. After several hours, she came out of a house with a man. Surprise! They kissed passionately as they left. Despite my anger, I remained calm and decided to talk to her when we got home. I let her leave first so she wouldn't see me and then headed home myself. When I got home, I found her in the kitchen making dinner. Although I was furious during the drive, I managed to stay calm during our confrontation. After several hours of listening to her excuses, tears, and lies, she finally told me the truth. She had started a relationship with that guy. He was involved in stealing credit card data from online store customers and convinced her to create an OnlyFans account and other adult live streaming sites. Together, they used stolen credit cards to fund her model accounts and split the profits. At my insistence, she showed me her OnlyFans and other accounts. After that, I quietly went to the couch and fell asleep. The next day, I contacted the police and sent an email to the FBI explaining what my fiancé was doing. I didn't tell her anything. I pretended to be upset but passive, and she believed me. Nothing happened for more than a week until one day, police officers knocked on our door and arrested her. 1 month later, the FBI took over the case because her lover was part of a larger online scam group with many victims. A few days ago, I got a call from my ex-fiancé who is currently out on bail. She accused me of ruining her life, saying I overreacted and should have just broken up with her instead of getting her arrested. Now I want to ask you all, am I the a-hole in this situation? Should I feel guilty for contacting the police and the FBI? Not the a-hole. Scammers can burn just as much as cheaters. Thank you. She ruined her own life by doing something illegal. The a-hole? You're a hero. Hell yeah, OP is. Too many people turn a blind eye not wanting to be blamed for ruining a supposed loved one's life, when that person ruined their own life with their actions. And not taking action on the other's part makes them just as guilty of the act as the perpetrator. Good luck with the hunt of a decent woman deserving of you, OP. Not a-hole. There's nothing she did in this entire story that is the least bit sympathetic, and you owe her nothing. Also, just for what it's worth, she wouldn't have been arrested if they didn't have solid evidence of her involvement. And that means if you had just reported the lover, she probably still would have ended up being arrested. Right. Everything about this is disgusting and horrible. Cheated and carried on an entire relationship while she was engaged to someone else. Exposed her partner to whatever she may have contracted from the person she was sleeping with, or that person's partners. Created a pornographic account online with the person she was cheating with. Willingly committed multiple crimes. Stole and participated in what appears to be money laundering. If this was really a group of scammers, she may have been part of organized crime and might even be subject to RICO laws. She does not seem like a redeemable person. I hope he recovers and goes on to find someone who treats him well. Next story. Am I the a-hole for blaming my wife for our homelessness and yelling, "What the heck did you think was going to happen?" My wife and I are really struggling financially and moved in with my mom to help us get back on our feet. I know it hasn't been easy on her, but I just can't believe what she did. So, my stepsister is getting married and wouldn't invite my mom, as her and her siblings hate her. My stepfather refused to attend without my mom, and it was a whole big thing. I think his kids thought he was going to cave because he was always a pushover with them, but he meant it and didn't go to the wedding. I'm sure it hurt him, but he comes from a pretty patriarchal culture and he isn't going to openly show his emotions. My wife was upset on the day of the wedding, as she believes kids should always come before your spouse, and that his behavior is disgusting. I don't disagree, but it also isn't our business. My wife took some pictures of him the day of the wedding to show my stepsister that he wasn't sad enough. He was just hanging with my mom, and in one of the pictures he is laughing. But I find this extremely uncomfortable for a few reasons. It is creepy and invasive to spy on people and take their pictures. They aren't even properly dressed in some of them. Like in one, I can very clearly see he's drunk as he is just wearing his boxers. And no, he doesn't walk around the house like that. In another, my mom appears to be wearing his shirt with nothing under it. So it is just weird. Also, we are guests in their home. Well, his daughter sent him the pictures and said she was glad he had his whore to comfort him. He realized what my wife had done and blew up. He called us ungrateful leeches, called her a bee, and he threw our clothes all over his lawn. I'm furious. Living with them was such a great opportunity to rebuild financially, and she ruined it. I lost it and shouted last night that it is all her fault. And what the heck did she think was going to happen? She is furious and says I had no right to speak to her like that, regardless of what she did. Now for the top comments. So your wife spied on your parents, waited until she could catch them in an unflattering moment, took their pics without consent, and then sent the pics to someone to feed their rage? Your wife is an a-hole. The pictures aren't even that unflattering. They're just creepy. Neither of them walk around a house like that, so I can't even figure out where they were taken. She claims the sauna in their bedroom, so that means she was literally spying. I'm just curious what she thought the outcome was going to be. What did she have to gain from it, other than causing drama and issues within the family dynamic? He just wanted his kids to see he isn't as good of a father as he pretends to be, because he always puts my mom first. My stepsister seemed to think he was at home crying, so she wanted to prove he wasn't. Which doesn't even make sense to me, as not everyone shows their feelings outwardly and he did seem sad that day. The heck is any of this your wife's business? It wouldn't even be her business if she was their full sibling, let alone their step-sibling spouse. I just cannot even fathom involving myself in someone else's family business like this, especially when the family members I'm raging myself against are giving me house space. Some people don't have the self-preservation instincts of a toxoplasmosis-stricken rat, and your wife appears to be one of those. Not a-hole. Why are you still with your wife though? That was my first thought. Second thought was, what the heck did his mom and dad do to make the stepkids and his wife hate them? Sometimes it doesn't take them doing anything but existing. A friend's parents divorced probably 20 years ago, and 5 years later mom met a really great guy who had recently moved to town from several states away. Independent, not a jerk, seemed genuinely caring, etc. When my friend's little sister, probably 20 at the time, was away at college, found out that mom was dating, she lost her mind. Didn't care to learn who the guy was or what he was about. Just instantly hated him. Came home on break, and the first thing she did when she walked in the door was start throwing any object she could get her hands on at that guy. Neighbor called the cops. She got arrested, etc. As far as I'm aware, friend moved coasts, so I don't talk to him as frequently anymore. She hasn't been in contact with the family since she was arrested. Which all reminds me, I should probably ping the guy. It's been a minute or two. Last story. Am I the a-hole for threatening to call off my wedding after my fiancé slapped me? So my fiancé, 24 female, and I, 28 male, are supposed to get married in 6 months. However, something happened that's made me reconsider and it's kind of blown up. I got into an argument with my fiancé like a week ago over something pretty trivial, but it ended up getting a bit heated. I try to keep things calm, but she ended up getting really mad and slapped me in the face. I was kind of shocked for a minute and then just told her she needed to leave. She refused at first, but then I raised my voice slightly and said, "You need to leave right now." She got some of her things and then went to go stay with her sister. I'm now considering ending things with her after she got physical with me. I honestly couldn't believe she did that. However, I've gotten massive pushback from pretty much everyone around me, telling me that ending our relationship and calling off our wedding over that is a massive overreaction. She did apologize, but I told her it doesn't change anything. My family is telling me I'm being crazy to end things over that. My friends are saying I'm massively overreacting. I pointed out that if I had done that to her, she would have almost definitely left me and would be 100% in the right to do so. They're all saying that's completely different because I'm significantly taller than her and physically stronger, while there's no chance she could ever physically overpower me. That is true, but I don't think it changes things. I'm being accused of weaponizing therapy language and appropriating the struggles of domestic abuse victims when what happened to me was in no way comparable to what genuine victims go through. I feel like I'm losing my mind and I'm doubting my reasoning now. Am I the a-hole? You would be the a-hole if you didn't end it. Can you imagine what she would do to possible future children when she gets angry and frustrated? She's not who you thought she was. Also, friends and family don't get a vote on your future happiness. She is showing him who she is, and she's someone who hits in anger. Any children would not be safe. OP would not be safe. Why would anyone want their son to stay in a relationship that is already deteriorating to violence? Absolutely. Once physical boundaries are crossed, the relationship's foundation is compromised. Protect yourself, OP. Not the a-hole. Call it off. Everyone is trying to gaslight you. For some reason, so many people still think it's okay for women to be physically abusive to men, but it is never okay. I'm so sorry that happened to you and at the hand of someone that you loved. At the very least, postpone it. I personally would not trust anyone who is telling me that I need to accept being treated that way, so you may need to think about not only cutting contact with your fiancé, but also the people who are telling you that this is okay. Because it very much is not, because most of the time abuse escalates over time. Also, if you are planning on having kids, think about what her discipline may look like for them. Dismiss anyone who says what you did is fine, or makes you feel crazy for wanting to call things off. I experienced something similar when my best friend in college got really drunk one night and started screaming at me and shoving me around. Some of our mutual friends thought I should forgive her because she's small and cute, and no one else saw that side of her. I gave her one more chance. She blew it, and we are not friends anymore. Same with the friends who sided with her. They're not in my life anymore, and I'm better off for it. The people who are in my life now would never support that behavior. So if you're worried about the fallout with friends and family, just think about yourself 10 years from now and how proud you'll be that you made the right choice for you, regardless of what others were saying. Even if your fiancé didn't physically hurt you, she showed a huge lack of respect with an intention to harm you, and I'm assuming broke your trust in her. If you want to break up with her, do it. At a minimum, don't get married. Edit? Wow, I did not expect this to get so much attention. I appreciate everyone giving their feedback. I felt like I was going crazy. I'm going to take some time to think about where to go from here. Thank you.